the reminder that FanDuel, guys, is America's #1 sportsbook. And right now, new customers can bet just $5. And if that $5 bet wins, you get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. So are you ready to play? If you are, download the FanDuel app right now by visiting FanDuel.com/UCSS to get started. That is FanDuel.com/UCSS to place your first $5 bet. If you guys have winning tickets, make sure you send it in. Scott Prisbiz sent us in a awesome ticket. He placed this back over the summer. It was a 5-part home run season total parlay. Lindor to hit 30, Ramirez to hit 30, Julio Rodriguez to hit 30, Judge and Ohtani both to hit 50.
Ooh.
All 5 came true. He turned a $7 bet into $963.41.
Nice. That's a
so
great
shout
bet.
out to Scott Prisbiz for that awesome winning FanDuel ticket. If you have a winning FanDuel ticket, make sure you send it in here
I
so
wonder,
we can feature
Should
it.
have bet
By the way,
more.
right now, Jason's saying
Should have bet more.
No,
Should have bet
I was
more.
just going to ask, what would have it paid if you threw Raleigh on to hit 60?
Oh, well.
Like, that would have been, now you're
Yeah,
talking
I mean-
about like a 5-figure payout.
Nobody would have.
Nobody would have thought of it, but
Yeah.
that's why it would have paid out so
That's
nicely.
crazy.
Should have bet more.
Yeah.
Should have
But
made it 20.
He probably
25.
made 50 of those bets
Right. And that's
at
the one
$7 each.
Right,
so maybe
right.
he's got $350 invested.
Yeah.
He didn't send us his losing tickets.
That's
they
true.
never do.
Hey, you won $963.
That's a good day.
Enjoy
Yeah.
it. Shout out
Kudos.
to Scott. He's a
Yeah.
daily watcher. We appreciate everyone. If you have winning tickets, make sure you send them in. Let's talk some Guardians, though, guys. Unfortunately, as soon as Bull said he was guaranteeing a win, they did not come through last night, losing 4-2, putting them back in a dead heat with the Detroit Tigers for first place in the AL Central, though Cleveland does technically have the tiebreaker.
What do you mean technically? It's not a dead heat. The
Well, they're
season ended
tied.
today. They'd be in the playoffs, and the Tigers would be a wild card.
When you see the dash, it means tied. They're technically tied.
Well,
even though the
they're-
Oh,
tiebreaker
technically.
goes to
You said technically they have the tiebreaker. You should have said they're technically tied. If we're going to be technical about it, Mike.
Lord, here
All right,
we
technically
go.
you are correct, but technically you're also a jerk. All right, guys.
Bull's not such a stickler.
What do you?
man.
No, it's all good. What did you make of the game last night? Are you surprised? And it's a crazy question I'm going to ask, but a starting pitcher gave up more than 2 runs, and
First
that
time
is
in 20
frankly
games.
shocking considering how well the Guardians have been pitching of late.
I'm not surprised it was due. In fact, I had said before yesterday, this is Cleveland, and I texted this to the group. As high as everyone was yesterday, you still have to realize that, and Stephen Vogt said this after the game on Wednesday night, we've won nothing. We've done nothing.
That's right. Nothing's clinched.
Nothing is clinched. And the odds of Cleveland beating Detroit 6 straight games in the matter of, what, a little more than a week, was an extreme long shot anyhow. And I just felt that it's just due. They're due an L. All that being said, it's not doom and gloom. You still have your destiny in your own hands. Go win 3 games against a Rangers team that's lost 9 of their last 10. And Bull, I don't know if you've watched any of them. They're sleepwalking.
Yeah, they're
They
finished.
are sleepwalking.
Yeah,
if
you
you
know-
don't get into the playoffs now, it's your own fault.
And the Tigers aren't. I mean, the Tigers are not going to sweep the Red Sox anyway, so they don't even.
You wouldn't
need,
think.
They don't even need to win 3 games to win the division.
Right.
I'd like to see them lock it up by tomorrow because I don't want to have to pitch Gavin Williams on Sunday.
You better win tonight. You better win tonight.
Yeah, you gotta
I
win
agree with
tonight.
that.
If you're the
Get it
Guardians.
out of the way,
That's
man.
the Rangers' best pitcher left that you'll face. Is
Yep.
Jack Leiter's pitched well, and he pitched well against the Guardians. But Ciccone's pitched extremely well, obviously down the stretch here. You got to take care of business tonight. Boston's got to play Detroit. Guardians have the tiebreaker over both the Astros and the Tigers.
What a luxury that is, too, guys.
Yeah,
Yeah, Houston's on the West Coast, so you're not
The
going to know
Angels, yeah.
till.
You know,
late.
it brings up an interesting dilemma, and I don't know if you guys have asked around or what they would do. I think I know the answer to this.
I
but
wonder if it's gonna be the one I
if
talked about this
Guardians
morning.
Win,
Yeah.
you got to stick around the clubhouse and watch the Astros West Coast game because you
Oh,
want to
no,
celebrate
I'm going
the play.
home.
There you go.
Really?
I celebrate the next day.
Man, I
think.
don't know. I don't know.
That
I'm
game's not
Celebrate
gonna
after you win the division.
You play. I don't know. I don't know,
Yeah.
guys.
That game won't be over till like 1 in the morning.
Well, I mean, we say that because the games used to take 3 hours.
All right, but so 12:30.
Yeah, I mean, and by the
And
time
they're going to be
they're
done at
done,
9:30. You're not going to sit around
Yeah.
for 3
I
hours.
don't think they're gonna
I
do
want
it.
to
We'll
be.
see.
I want to be with the peeps. I want to be with my guys when that happens.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. I think an interesting question here is, this is going to be, and this is possible this could come down to this. Let's say going into Sunday, they have clinched a playoff spot,
But not the division.
But not the division.
Yeah, you do. You throw them.
I would not pitch Gavin Williams
I
on
throw
Sunday.
him.
I would pitch Cantillo on Sunday.
Yeah, I'm still
what would you do,
pitching.
Jason?
Gavin.
Yeah, I think that's the right
throw
call.
Gavin.
And I'll let you answer why. My why is you have such a distinct advantage as a division winner. And in normal years, if there was separation between ace and, let's say, deuce here, I would say, yeah, save your ace. But I don't think there's that big of a difference.
I disagree, but go ahead.
So I haven't looked at this. It's an excellent
Yeah.
point. I hadn't really thought all the way through. So if Gavin throws Sunday and worst case scenario, Gavin throws Sunday and they lose. Okay, so they're the wild card. They're not division.
Right.
So when do they play again? And would Bybee
Tuesday,
be available?
Wednesday, Thursday.
And Bybee would be available, would he not?
Yes, he would
Okay,
be.
then I would throw Gavin.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
Tanner's been so good.
He's been great.
For the last month. I think he sort of figured some things out. I agree with you. It's not like you have Scooble and then everybody else.
Right.
Are we sure Gavin is the ace? Are we even sure of that?
I said
I'm
yesterday
100%
he's
sure of
my
that right
ace
now.
now.
I mean-
but to your question, I don't think there's an ocean of difference between
Correct.
ace and deuce in
Correct.
this situation. I
Yeah.
think go with
Yeah.
just let it ride.
I
Go
don't
for
know.
that
I-
division.
I want the division. I want the Gavin
Yeah, but you're
home.
talking as if Cantillo pitches, they're going to lose. I would still
No, I'm
assume.
not.
Well, that's what you're
But
saying.
he gives
You're
you a
saying
bet-
it
but
is
he gives you a better.
Yeah, I'm
Right,
going
but
with the guy that gives me the better chance
chance.
in the most meaningful game on the schedule, which is today. Which is.
But it's not because you're already in the playoffs, so it's not the most.
But
It
it's a
is,
pretty
but look at the
significant
advantage.
difference.
Look at the difference between being a wild card that has to go on the road and play 3 games,
Yeah.
compared to a team that wins a division.
Well, the
and-
wild card versus winning division doesn't matter. It's just road versus home.
That's
Yeah, but that's
significant.
I mean, look at the crowds we've had over there.
I hear you,
90,000
but
over the last 3
the
games.
actual most important games, the playoff games, I'd rather have the first 2 games be Williams and Bybee than Bybee and Ciccone.
Okay, let me play
Wait,
this
can
way.
I ask a question real quick
Yeah.
on this bowl? If they don't pitch Williams on Sunday,
Yeah.
which would be 5 days his normal rest, in the 6-man rotation, Monday would be his normal pitch day, assuming they had a game. Tuesday would then be 7 days of rest between starts.
I don't
is that,
care.
Is that
That's
over
fine.
rest?
This time of year, that's
Yeah,
fine.
no, I'm not worried about that.
You throw bullpens.
Yeah, I'm not worried
Yeah,
about
yeah,
that.
yeah.
And it's a great question, and it's a valid point.
I mean,
And
I
I'm
understand
sure
the
they're having-
argument where you're coming from.
Right,
I
I'm sure
get
they're
it.
having this conversation in the front office.
Yeah,
The
There's
question
probably
is-
people on our side and there's people on his side.
And
And
you know
that's
what?
why you want to
So-
wrap it up Saturday, so you don't have to make that decision.
That's why, to your
Yeah.
point, like win
Win it
tonight,
tonight.
Yeah.
get one in the bank, and
Yeah.
then you have the luxury of scoreboard watching and seeing what Detroit does.
If you kick this away tonight, now you're starting to feel a little bit of pressure because everyone just
That's
assumes
a
you're
totally
in.
different
Absolutely
Yeah, yeah.
right.
So you better win tonight. And the Rangers are beat up. They're without some of their best players. They're just trying to.
3 of their top hitters are
Yeah,
out.
they're just trying to get the season over with.
If
at
they
this point.
lose to the Rangers,
Yeah.
it at that point is totally on them as a fumble because the ball is in their arm.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They
now.
control their
And
own destiny.
The Rangers, I went back and looked. They won 6 in a row. Bull, I don't know what happened to them. They won 6 in a row.
They were
on
a game out of the
real
wild
heater.
card.
They
Yeah.
were rolling, and then all of a sudden, someone turned out the lights, and they've lost 9 of their last 10 games.
they've been
Yeah, yeah,
wildly
yeah.
erratic all year.
Now,
All
those
year
pitching
long.
matchups are not necessarily accurate. Slade Ciccone is pitching tonight. The Saturday and Sunday are to be determined. This would be the rotation if they stayed in rotation. But
Right.
even Saturday with Logan Allen is not. They have not locked him in for Saturday, and they certainly haven't locked Cantillo
Let me ask
in
you
for
this:
Sunday.
what could happen that would change that? I can't envision anything that
Well, they could.
like what.
If they might decide to pitch, because right now I think they like Cantillo more than Logan Allen.
Okay.
And they could decide to pitch Cantillo on Saturday if they think they're going to need Williams on Sunday. I mean,
So and that would most likely happen with a loss tonight.
So
Right,
they lose
so-
tonight,
okay.
Detroit wins. They're a game back.
I would listen to
They
that
win both
argument.
games.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
do like Cantillo more than Allen.
Right.
Although, gosh, there's been a couple outings recently where I've watched Allen and said, okay, that was the guy we were advertised to be getting that we
Yeah.
just haven't gotten enough of.
I just think they're really, like, to me, Cantillo's in the playoffs, to me, it goes Williams, Bybee, Ciccone, Cantillo. That's their 4 starters for me in the playoffs.
In the words of the great Jay-Z, finish your breakfast, man. In other words, if you don't listen to rap lyrics, is finish strong. You've done what you needed to do. You've put yourself in position. You did the heavy lifting. Don't let this little Texas Rangers thing stand in the way of you finishing what you're supposed to. Come out here and get this win, and you can kick your feet up. So this is the most pivotal game right here. Like, this is a team that Jason already said they've already given up. They got 3 of their best hitters out, and at the end of the day, the Guardians, I think, will have the eye of the tiger, for a lack of a better term. But I think they'll come out and be ready to go. They drop one, but this is where you get it done. Get these dudes up off the sticks, and I do believe that it is imperative that you get the division, because I believe that the Guardians have probably one of the best home field advantages when it comes to the playoffs, and I want the most games at home. I want them games at home.
Yeah, there's a nice advantage for them to be at home. I know we don't want to really look backwards. I don't want to spend too much time on this, but I thought last night Missick pitched well. I mean, he made 3 mistake pitches. Well, I mean, obviously, other than that, Mrs. Lincoln, how did you enjoy? Yep. But when you dissect the game after the fact, I felt like, and I said this on his first start too, we were watching it upstairs with a bunch of the sports guys from Digital, and I said, he's getting results, but he's a little too herky-jerky. He felt like he was, like, it's his first major league start. I get it. And I've since come to find out that's just how he pitches. He's got a lot of that nervous energy that we've seen other pitchers possess. And I just felt like he looked like the moment was going to overtake him, and I felt like it did.
I also think
it's a shame.
I also think, Jay, that like he's in such an early stage in his major league career. Like, this was an issue we had. This is a big issue I had with Gavin Williams that he's finally overcome. Well, finally, he hasn't been in the league that long. But like when Gavin Williams, really until early this season, he'd get 2 strikes and then he'd start nibbling for that perfect pitch.
And that's what happened with the home run balls.
Bibby's the same way.
He was up 0-2 and then got Q.
Exactly. That's what Messick's doing now.
Yeah, and then he had to groove one.
Like Gavin Williams is not really doing that anymore. That's like the next progression of a pitcher. And he hasn't pitched a lot.
I think that's trusting your stuff. And I think Carl Williams had been whispering and now finally shouting in Gavin's ear, trust your stuff.
Right.
And he would get up, and that's exactly what Messick did yesterday. First hitter of the game, he gets up 0-2. And then he's nibbles. Now he's full. You don't want to walk the leadoff guy. He pipes one, and it's a home run.
Yeah, and I think we've seen Joey Cantillo make that adjustment now, too, since his last time in the minors. They really worked on, with him, like, throwing strikes.
And his
I
changeup is
really,
so
like, I'm irrationally high on Cantillo.
Yeah, I'm high on him, too. I like him a lot.
I like him, too.
Yeah, I thought they left Messick. It didn't ultimately matter because they only scored 2 runs. But I thought he left Messick in too long, which I've rarely complained about.
Yeah,
I don't want to make too big a deal about it. But
yeah, I know. Where are you on the panic meter?
0.
Not even
I'm very confident.
Okay, I'm because I'm a Cleveland sports fan.
I get it.
I'm nothing but scar tissue. I'm like a 2.
Your resting heart rate is a 2.
Yeah, exactly. That's the baseline for me. Now, interestingly enough, if we get, so there's 6 results that are remaining, and I'm just looking at the division. I know there's a safety net of the wild card. I'm just looking at the division. There's 6 results remaining. The Guardians need 3 positive results. So if you're flipping coins, that's a 50-50 shot. And now I know that there's more that goes.
It's not 50-50.
Yeah, it is. You need 3.
The Tigers need 4 positive.
No, if our magic number's 3, correct?
Right.
Yeah, so we need 3 positive. We need 3 positive results out of 6 potential.
Right, but the Tigers need 4 out of 6.
Yeah, but Bull, what if we get 2?
Then they get 4.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So it's 50-50 proposition.
It's not, because if the Guardians get 3 and the Tigers get 3, the Guardians win.
Exactly, 50-50 proposition. What the odds, now the other odds would be there's 6 results remaining. If we get 2 favorable results, we're out. So if you look at it from that standpoint, all we need is 3. It's a 50-50 shot that we get those 3. If you're just flipping coins. Now, there's a lot more that goes into it. Momentum, but our momentum was stopped last night. Also, the quality of opponent, and where are you? You're at home. You've got a worse team than...
Right.
So I would say from the 50-50, if I'm factoring in home field and quality of opponent, now I'm kicking it up for the Guardians to like 65%. But should they get 2 unfavorable results tonight, then you're left with 4 results remaining, and you need 3 good ones.
Right.
Which now you're down to a 25% if you're flipping coins.
Sure.
So win tonight. Just put this thing to bed as fast as you can.
I'm just going to clarify one more time, and then we'll probably bang heads on this again, and I'll let it go. But technically, 3 is not 50-50 because there's 7 possible results. There's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6.
No,
Zero's not an option.
Zero's not an option.
0 is an option. You could get 0 positive results.
No. I'm saying results, meaning Tigers loss or Guardians win.
He's saying there's 6 games left.
Yeah.
Right. But what I'm saying is the Tigers need more positive results than the Guardians, so it can't be 50-50.
Yeah, Bull. No, you're misunderstanding what I'm saying. there's 6 potential results remaining.
Right. I
3
understand what you're
Guardians
saying.
games, 3 Tigers
and we
games.
need 3 positive results. We need 3 to go our way, and then we
Right.
win.
Right, but I'm saying the Tigers need 4 to go their way, so they need
All right,
more.
it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it
We
doesn't
got-
matter.
we got the
because I'm not
Muppet
talking
men.
about the Tigers.
We got the
Again, I'm
Muppet
just
men up
talking
in the
about
balcony.
Guardians.
All right, forget
Yelling
it.
at
That's
each
all right.
other.
And
Yeah, I
it's
get
not
it.
really
It
even a
doesn't matter.
50-50 for
Yeah,
the
yeah.
reasons I said. You've got home field, you've got the Red Sox. The fact of the matter is, I think we all agree on this. Tonight is clearly the most important game.
There's a lot of pressure
That
if
could
they
be
don't win tonight.
superseded. Saturdays could become more important depending on what happens, but you don't know that. So tonight, play them like they're elimination games.
Of course,
Well, that's how
they're
they've been
gonna
playing
play
for the
them that
last
way.
3 weeks.
And I know I don't know how long you can continue that. We're going to find out.
Well, the
but-
one thing in their favor is by opponent, the Guardians have the best matchup this weekend because
Absolutely.
Houston is in LA Anaheim to play the Angels,
Right.
And Detroit's got their hands full with Boston. Texas is completely checked out. So from that standpoint, the Guardians should have the advantage.
yeah, just
Yeah, I
and
mean the Angels are checked out too, but at least they're at home.
They're at home.
Yeah.
we're over 2 million fans for the season. That's good. We're still 20th or 21st in attendance,
I
which
mean, I
isn't
can't-
good.
How can we blame the fans? The team sucked.
No,
all season.
I'm not
Yeah,
blaming
yeah.
the fans. Well, I'm getting
Yeah.
ready to set something up here.
Yeah.
Before this series, we ran the soundbite on Channel 3 from Stephen Vogt. He basically was pleading for the fans to come out. He wasn't really beating around the bush. He's like, we're going to need you to
And
show
they did.
up. And they did. And then after the game last night, he said it again. We've got the best fans. You guys showed up. You made a difference. However,
We got 3 to go.
we've got the 3 biggest games of the year coming.
Yeah.
I had said before, we had talked Monday, what's a good number
I
for
thought
this
20 to
series?
25. I was pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, I thought my baseline is 25. I want 30, and I'd love 35 or 30, whatever.
Well, I think it was
capacity
30,
is.
28, and 30, something like that.
It was 30, or no, 29, 26, and whatever they got last night. Did they
was
get
over
to 30?
30 last night,
Okay.
yeah.
I think they're going to need close to capacity houses tonight, Saturday, and Sunday. And here's the thing. They should be able to do that.
It's the weekend.
My only fear is Sunday's game, you're going to get a lot of folks that just choose to stay home and watch the Browns. I get that.
I think it's going
But
to be over before then.
oh.
So
Please.
I
I
think
just
Boston-
don't want Sunday to come down to the Guardians have to win.
Yeah.
And then you're watching the Browns and you're watching the Guardians. Like, it's just.
the good news is the Guardians game doesn't start till 3:10 or 3:15.
I know, but I don't want
it.
any overlap.
Yeah, I
you
hear
know?
you.
But by then
Ti-
the Browns game might be over.
The Tigers are listen. I was glad Boston lost yesterday because that means they're only a game up on Detroit for that second wild card,
Yeah.
and Houston's only 2 back of Boston, so Boston hasn't clinched anything yet.
No, they have not.
If Boston wins tonight, and you kind of want, in a way, if the Guardians win, I kind of want Houston to win tonight because
To put pressure on Boston?
keep Boston wanting
Meaningful
to win at least
baseball
one
for
more
Saturday
game.
and Sunday. That's a good
yeah,
point.
Yeah, at
Yeah,
least
I had-
Saturday.
I think Crochet's supposed to throw this weekend, isn't he?
He was. He's supposed to.
He's lined up to. I think he's lined
I
up.
think
to
he
get
is.
one
think
more
so,
start.
yeah.
I think he is. So, Bull, I hadn't thought about that, but that's an interesting point because you don't want Boston to glide into Saturday with
Right,
with nothing
because
on the,
I
on the line.
believe, I think Boston has the tiebreaker over Houston, if I remember correctly.
I didn't look at that.
I think I looked at it this
I just
morning. I
looked at-
can't remember now, but
Detroit has it over Houston, right?
yeah, Houston does have a tiebreaker.
No,
over
you're
anybody.
right. Crochet's not pitching anymore.
Right.
He's
yeah,
done.
yeah.
I thought he was.
But so if Boston wins tonight and Houston wins tonight, and Houston loses, Boston clinches a playoff spot.
Yeah.
Now they don't clinch right now they're the 5 seed. I guess that doesn't, whether you're the 5 or 6 doesn't really matter much.
Just
In
on
fact-
who you play.
Matchup.
In fact, you'd probably rather be the 6 because then you get to play the Guardians. If you're the Red Sox, you'd rather play the Guardians than the Yankees.
Yankees.
Yeah. There's a real possibility that we get 2 great series in the first round. I mentioned this Wednesday. We could get Cleveland, Detroit, and Boston, New York.
Yeah.
I mean,
It'd be a blast.
what more do you want?